What's up, guys? Welcome
Hey,
to the Building It podcast. This is episode 4. I'm Truman Milan, and we got Mike here, Mike Ritchie.
what's up, y'all?
And today's episode is dedicated to creating good or what makes good short form videos.
Yeah, so I will even correct you and say what makes great short
Oh,
form
great,
video,
great
because
videos.
here's the thing: there's so much what Truman calls lukewarm videos. And if you're like a viewer of content on social media, you'll know that you could be scrolling, one video makes you freaking cry. And you scroll, and the next one makes you freaking laugh. You scroll, the next one makes you really, really angry. And so, if a video doesn't live up to that standard, it's so quick to just scroll because you know that the next one is probably going to be better. And so, um, I just want to kind of touch on a couple different points of how you should be looking at your content that you're making and how to get closer to achieving great videos. And of course, it's easier said than done. It's something that's very difficult, and there aren't really a whole lot of shortcuts. And that's kind of the harsh truth, is that if you want to have some groundbreaking video, it's going to take a perfect storm of a bunch of different components for that to pop off, and you're going to have to earn those views.
Right.
And so, someone that this makes me think of that I sent Truman one of his videos the other day is Roberto Nixon. And he's been making a lot of these AI videos, and he made this one where it's like an AI tool that can 3D render like a character over you.
Yeah.
And the thing that was cool about that video, it was genuinely mind blowing.
Right.
And no wonder it got all these different views, because he was talking about something that me as a viewer saw it was like, holy crap, that's insane. Or if you see a video that's like, oh, I have to remember this, I'm going to save it. Those sorts of things are what's going to make your video grow, not just some sort of mid piece of advice on how to wipe your butt from the front. Like, you need to be digging deep
Yeah.
and talking about some real serious stuff. So, a point with that, get straight to the point. Like,
Yeah.
that's one of the most important ones. If there's any dilly daddling in the first couple of minutes or even
First couple
seconds,
seconds.
you
Yeah.
got 1 minute. So in the first 3 to 5 seconds, if you're not getting to the point, and I don't know why I'm watching this video or why I should be interested, I'm one swipe away to the next video.
Right.
And then, is there a valuable takeaway? Like, what is the message from this video? And that value could be like a laugh, like Frankie I don't remember his last name. He's the dude with the uh Jim Kardashian is his name, his character with the big butt. And it's like, okay, the value he's bringing you is joy, and he's not
Yeah.
necessarily giving you a tip. But if I get if I verbally laugh watching a video, I'm like, you earned that. Like, I'm gonna like this.
Right.
And depending on the degree of my reaction with your video is going to result in how I engage with this. If I really resonate with this post, I'm not just going to like it. I'm going to also comment, and I'm also going to send it to 3 homies. If I
Right.
sort of like it, I'll just like it and I'll keep scrolling. A like is kind of the bare minimum of what you're earning. You'll find it'll be pretty easy to get a couple hundred likes, but then you still might have 0 comments.
Right.
So how are you going to dig deeper to get that reaction where someone is inclined to comment? Or even a
Right.
big trend on TikTok that I see a lot of people of is like, 3 powerful websites that are going to change your business. And those do so well because it's perfect for sharing to your co-founder or whatever.
Right.
And it's perfect to save because you're like, I want to come back to this and remember these websites. And so those are all things that TikTok or Instagram is looking at, that is deciding, is this good or is this bad? Should I show this to more people, or should we just stop it right here because this dude is tweaking?
Yeah. I wanna touch on something that you mentioned. Like, uh, it sounds very obvious what we're saying here, but it's like that saying that like common sense isn't that common. Like,
Uh-huh.
what we want to do is you want to create content that is share worthy, or like you want to create content that is so good that people want to share it to other people. and or you want to create content so good that people comment on your video. And oftentimes people forget that simple thing. You know, they just create content that's, again, lukewarm. That's like, you know, you never want to have someone watch your video and just be like, okay, cool, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this video. Like, you know, if someone's just like flexing, showing off their house or whatever, like there's no like inherent value in that video other than to just show off. And
Yeah.
like so, but if you're actually providing actual value, like tangible value that someone can like use right away, or you know, it's a laugh, like you're sharing it to someone else, it's just the value is there. And like I want to see if you can touch on that topic that John Taffer talks about. I know
Yeah.
that this is one of your like favorite ideas that you said on
Oh yeah,
creating
because John
content.
Taffer is one of my favorite people of all time,
Yeah.
and he has a show called Bar Rescue, and he talks about this topic in terms of content, food, your restaurant experience, and he says that your objective as a bar or a restaurant when you serve a meal or a cocktail is that you want that meal to create a reaction from the person. And so what you're selling isn't just the food, you're selling the reaction, and the food is the vehicle to get that reaction.
Right.
And so he also applies the same topic with creating videos. And was he did an interview on the Ask Gary V show talking to Gary, and they were talking about how your content needs to create a reaction, and that's what's going to make it really stick and what's going to make people really gravitate towards it. Like if you are Alex Hermosi and you drop a video that legitimately shows someone how to make $1 million and you don't hold anything back, odds are people are going to be taking notes and it's going to work. Versus if you're like, you know, trying to sell your program or your course and you're just trying to give a little bit of common knowledge and then you're like, but you got to pay for it. People are going to be like, screw this guy. I don't care. I'm going to go find another person
Right.
because cat's out the bag.
Yeah.
TikTok, YouTube, if they're not getting it from one person, they know that there's 10 other dudes competing for your views and that you need to give them real value. And so that's what's so great
Yeah.
about like Alex Hermosi. I think we talked about this before. He gives strategy and real value. And I think another great example and great principle around this idea is have an outlet for your videos through creating a series
Mm.
and have a series that creates value. And the example is Truman's book series. That's, I read this book so that you don't have to. That's a genius series that worked because it's a consistent theme that he can plug and play different ideas. It's not just his opinions that he's saying, oh, take my word for it. It's like he's taking it from these great books that he already has read. And it's so repeatable that you can just keep on doing it for a while. Like if you look at social media, Cody Co. or all over the place. They're doing series that they create. And like with Cody Co, it starts where he may do a video that's like, that's cringe. And it's the first video he sees, whoa, this did 1 million views. Let me turn this into a series where now he's watching cringy content and is able to turn that 1 million views into 50 million views because people already know that they like it. It's familiar.
Yeah. And if you haven't already listened to episode 3 of our podcast, we touch on this idea of reducing friction in your content creation process. And I would say that creating a series is also one of those things that reduces friction because, again, if you're coming up with brand new content ideas every single day, like it's just a lot of effort to do that. But if you can spend that same amount of like brain power to come up with a banger series, then you just plug and play, like you said, like new episodes. And, you know, it allows you to just quickly like jump on that low hanging fruit whenever you need a video idea. You just go like, okay, I'm going to do another episode of this series. And then you can just, you know, get it out. People already love it and it works, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Watch social media videos and see which ones have 1 million likes. And then try and see what did they do to deserve these 1 million likes. And if you just keep on consuming videos, you're going to start to see some common trends of how someone is able to earn that much attention, and by putting out, like, another great example is Whistling Diesel, where he
Hmm.
put those carriage wheels on a Tesla.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean that got a million views? Of course it did.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking like this, of course this got that many views.
Right.
Reverse engineer your comments that you want and go out and earn those comments. Another person I'm gonna shout out, Harry Mack. He does these
Yeah.
freestyles, and he has this constant comment that's always one of the top comments in his videos that says, "Rule number 1, never skip a Harry Mack video." And the
Yeah.
reason why is because maybe at the beginning you're like, all right, I don't know if this dude is actually good at rapping or not. I don't. And then by the end of the video, you're like, holy crap, he just went there. And then
Yeah.
people are like, okay, rule number 1, never skip a Harry Mack
Yeah.
video.
Never
And
doubt
so
him.
think about what kind of comment. Go into the comment sections on viral videos that you see. Look at those comments and screenshot them, save them, put them all into a collage or a folder that says, these different comments. Even once you start putting your content out and getting these comments, save those comments and use them as fuel of, why isn't Mike Ritchie famous yet?
Yeah.
Or why hasn't this gone viral yet? Here before this goes viral. I'm so early on this. Like, those are the types of comments you want to get. You don't want to just get a fire emoji.
Yeah.
If you're just getting a bunch of fire emojis, that's not a really good sign. It's better than getting no comments. And a fire emoji is better than a poop emoji.
Yeah.
So, but you want to be really digging deep and unloading on people of what value you have. And a type of video that I still see that is always flopping is someone just chooses a song, they edit some B-roll of them on stage looking all cool. They're like, why didn't this get a million views? It looks so cool. Maybe that would have worked in 2016, 2017, but now what's the story? Why is someone even watching this? Like, we get it. You think you're cool. We get it. You spent 10K on this videographer and you went to Texas. I don't
Yeah.
care. But
Right.
can you add a story behind that, a narration that is
Hmm.
getting people to connect and is something of real value that's not just, unless you're like a professional video creator that has the most stunning and beautiful shots, then you might get away with being able to edit B-roll. Odds are you're
Right.
not that guy.
Yeah. Exactly. Um, I I just forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so like, yeah, Whistle and Diesel, Mr. Beast, they, like, a common theme with both of those creators is they have those crazy over the top ideas. And that, you like, most people out there are not in a position to buy an island for a YouTube video or buy a G-Wagon and go to Moab like Whistle and Diesel did. Like, but you can still apply the same principle of coming up with really, really, really good ideas, like you're saying, of like, what type of ideas are going to deserve a million likes or a million comments, or the type of comments that I'm looking for, starting at that point and then creating ideas from that standpoint, reverse
Yeah.
engineering, like you said. Like, that's, I think that that's why Mr. Beast, Whistle and Diesel are at the level that they are at, because they have a standard for the level of content that they're making.
Yeah.
They're not just going to put out a crap video just to have one out for the week. Like, it's
Yeah.
not about
It's
just
not
putting
like
one out.
maintenance.
Yeah, it's like there's no magical thing. Like, I think a lot of people get caught up in like this, you need to be posting every day or you need to be posting once a week or whatever it is. Like, just because you post one video a week, full stop, doesn't mean that you're gonna grow. Like, it has to be good video. It has to be a good video. Like, it has to be a great video. It has to be phenomenal. It has to be the best video that someone sees on their For You page that day.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, that's another, like, standpoint or metric to use, is like, I want this video to be the best video that this person sees on their whole entire For You page. Just starting with that level and then starting to think of ideas, it's going to put you way ahead of everyone else, because we mentioned this briefly in our last episode. Like, you need to create a little bit of constraints for yourself in order to make the ideas flow. So if you just like take pen to paper and you're like, I want to post a video today, and then that's it. That's all you think about. You're going to be overwhelmed with the amount of ideas that you're never really going to pick one. But if you sit down with pen and paper or in your notepad or whatever it is, and you say, like, I make videos for skateboarders on teaching them how to kickflip. That's like the niche that I'm in. But I want this video to be not just educational. I want it to be that, but I want it to be so good that this is going to be the best video on someone's For You page. So how can I go about doing that? And you start thinking, you know, and then you come up with an idea and then you shoot it and you get it out there and then you adapt and go from there. But you have to, everything that we're talking about here is like revolving around the central idea of like the idea is what matters oftentimes the most, you know, like we talk about Alex Hormozy a lot, and he said something that it's like he like will shoot videos like in his closet and they'll still get millions of views because the content or the idea is so good. You know, it's like how to make $1 million in your service-based business. Like that's a hot topic, and he provides a ton of value on that. You know, but if he was just like in that closet talking about his day and all the food he ate, that's not good enough. That's not like a hot enough idea. And like going back to like what you were saying at the beginning, like you want to get away from making lukewarm content that people see on their For You page and they just scroll by. You know, you have to come from the perspective of like providing something for your viewer, because every viewer, whether they think about it or not, they're saying like, what's in it for me? Like, why should I like this video? Why should I comment? Why should I share this? You know? And so you want to be creating content so good that they can't help but share it to their homies, you know,
Yeah.
or they can't help but comment, you know, they feel like you gave them so much that they owe you, or they owe you for the amount of value that you just dumped on them, you know.
Yeah, they're
The
thanking
least
you.
that they could do is comment, you know.
Oh yeah. And I also just think like reverse engineering your comments is a step in being intentional. You want to intentionally be making great videos and intentionally not making lukewarm videos. And even if you can't buy someone an island, when Mr. Beast first got started, he was like, let me count to 100,000. Let me say Logan Paul's name 100,000 times. And it seemed ridiculous. It was crazy. People are like, what is this kid doing? Next thing you know, he's bigger than Logan Paul. And he's
Mm-hmm.
the biggest creator on the whole platform. And he is now buying islands. And so, you know, depending on what your objectives are, where you're at in the journey, there's different approaches that you want to be taking. Like Mr. Beast, he was like, let me do something ridiculous. Let me just get as many followers as possible. And that worked for him. But also, if you're trying to maybe get clients or get business or talk to someone specifically, then you're going to want to give specific value to that person and be extremely intentional about it. And so don't be afraid to hold back. Like, and also look at other creators and get influence. Don't copy them, but you can see a little bit of what's working, what's not working. A lot of people have this maintenance perspective and their brands are failing because they think, oh, I'm going to repost 3 IG reels on my Instagram story every day and then cry about why I only get 4 likes. And it's like,
Right.
you're going about this completely wrong. You're not just, your audience shouldn't feel like, oh, I'm just a chore. People are just putting this content just to have that regular touch point. You know, here's the thing, that touch point is going to determine how much they like you. If it's an extremely mid interaction and you have that touch point every day, then you're reinforcing into their mind that you're a mid person that is
Mm-hmm.
just trash. Versus
Right.
if every one of those touch points you're delivering bangers, then it's like that person is a banger creator. So
Yeah.
it's a combo. You can't just look at, oh, I need to post every day, I need to do all these touch points, and then just put out just trash content. Like you need to have regular touch points, but have that standard of what
Dude, that's
quality.
it's so true. And like I feel like this relates really well, or at least it's easy to understand when you relate it back to like restaurants. Like, because you know, if you're getting 50 customers a day in your hamburger business, your burger shop, and like but every burger is just trash, like that's not going to help you in the long run. And so with your content, like you're putting out a ton of content, like it's the same thing. Like, do you want 50 people consuming what you consume and being like, yo, this sucks. Like, I don't even know why I consume this. So like with your content, yes, you need to be putting out a lot of content, but that's only with the understanding that it's phenomenal content. It can't be trash content, because that is what you're like what you just said. It's like just reinforcing that you're trash, and
Yep.
that's what, like, it's called a personal brand because it's a brand, and so with any brand, like if Apple started just dropping their level of standard and just producing just absolute terrible phones, the brand and the level of trust that consumers have with it would go down. They may be able to coast for a few years just off of what they've made so far in their brand, but eventually they're not going to be the top anymore. And they are the top because they have such a high level of quality and standard for what they put out. And I think that that's just like the absolute pinnacle is just you put out the best content you possibly can, a lot,
Yep.
a lot, but so that's the formula, but it's all about how do you get to that formula, because that requires a ton of resources. It requires a ton of team. Mr. Beast, he's at that level where he's putting out banger videos a lot, but
And
he
he has
has a
3
huge,
production studios.
right. And so that, like that, once again, that's the formula. It's all about now, how do you get to that point? And it doesn't mean that you need to have millions of dollars. There's ways that you can do it for a lot cheaper. We mentioned in the last episode, like reducing friction by having a home studio set up. That's one way to make it so that you're still putting out high level quality content, great content, but consistently.
Yeah.
So it's not one or the other, it's both, and that's what makes it so hard.
Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. I also want to say, to kind of wrap this up, is don't give up. Try not to be too emotional about it. You can do this. It's really, really hard, but be patient and you can do it. Like Mr. Beast, sure, he's spending multiple millions of dollars on one single video and is able to get 100 million views. Alex Ramosi is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars per month on his content and is able to get to where he is. But quality content doesn't just mean the technical quality or how much money you put into it. It goes down to the words, it goes down to what you're saying, who you're talking to, and how you're doing it. So you need to be bold. Don't be afraid to take chances. It's going to be scary. Like, I have a lot of experience in front of a camera just because I've been practicing. So start practicing and don't expect a million views right off the bat. And it's going to get easier with time. And, I still have days all the time where I'm like, I'm not getting the results I want. But you just have to push through that. Take it one day at a time. If you're feeling really down, like, take a step away from it and go do something that you love to do. Go hang out with your girl, go watch a movie, and then come back and just don't give up and stay persistent, because you're going to want to quit. You're going to be afraid and you're going to get hate comments. That's just
Mm-hmm.
the name of the game. So don't be afraid of any of that stuff. Just push through it and keep going, because the real ones are going to see the effort that you're putting in. I saw a video of someone talking about this. An artist with a platinum record is never going to make fun of the artist in the home studio, because they were once there and they know, like, what it takes and how hard it is. And so a $1 million entrepreneur is never going to laugh at the entrepreneur who is failing, because they were
Yeah.
once there and they had to push through it. So it's all these losers that have never tried what you're doing that are going to throw hate comments. It's easier. It's way easier to leave a hate comment and to say something. And those are just trolls. The trolls are out there, but you never know who's watching your content. I've had videos that have gotten not very many views, but have led to new projects, new opportunities that I couldn't have predicted. And so the real ones, a lot of times the real ones aren't even necessarily commenting. They're the silent viewers, but they're still there. They're still listening. So don't cater towards those really loud trolls that are just trying to poke your buttons and is just the same as a middle school bully. The kid that's throwing stones is living in a glass house. He's the most insecure, and that's why he's poking at you. And so it's okay, you know, like even me, every time I see a small creator, like I'm trying to support them because I know what it's like and how hard it is to get hate comments, but you can do it. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I believe in you because I don't know you, but I believe that you can do it if you are willing to change and adapt and you're willing to put in the work. There's no
Yeah.
shortcuts. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. And I guess one last note, I guess that just keeps popping into my head is this idea from Mark Manson, the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, that is called the backwards law, where he says the path towards uh, negativity is through positivity, and the path towards positivity is through negativity. So, sort of what that means is you're going to have to do the difficult things to get those easy results. If you're doing the easy thing, it's going to be the difficult path. If you're doing the difficult things, it's actually the easier path. So, with all
Yeah.
things, with every dog, there's the dog shit. With everything, there's that bad side of it. So don't
Mm-hmm.
be avoiding the hard stuff. Don't be avoiding, you're not going to get rid of that fear just by, you know, wanting to get rid of it. What you're going to do is you're going to become better at overcoming fear. You're going to be better at facing that. And that's what I loved about the whole cold shower thing. It's not about, oh, if I take a cold shower, it's going to physically make my body chiseled and toned and I'm going to look like The Rock. No, it's just practicing. You're going to put yourself in an uncomfortable position. And it's this principle of the flinch where the quicker you can get through that flinch and just say, all right, fuck it. You know, I'm going to turn that thing, I'm going to be in a cold shower for a minute, is going to help you in other areas where it's like, oh, I'm really nervous sitting in front of the camera. I don't know what I'm going to say today. Boom, push through it. Just do it. And there's real ones out there that are going to support you and they're going to love you, even if they aren't commenting. And you're building an organic audience versus paid marketing. When you're doing a paid ad, you're renting that audience space.
Mm-hmm.
When you build an organic audience, you're owning that audience. And so it's low and slow, but in the long term, when you get those 100,000 followers, those 10,000 followers, even those 1,000 followers, they're with you because you did it the slow and the hard way. And that's your new foundation that is going to get exponentially easier. Like
Mm-hmm.
trying to get 1 million views when you've got 10 followers is really difficult, but still possible. But if you've got 100,000 committed followers that already like you, you're getting a milli every video. And so don't give up just because it's hard right now. There's that big initial hurdle, and it's gonna start to get easier eventually. But don't be trying to take the easy path. Go for the hard path. Do the hard things, and it's gonna pay off.
Yep. Phenomenal ideas that we talked about today. Once again, this is the Building It podcast, and it's all about providing insights, ideas, practical strategies for people to build a strong personal brand. And what we mean by that is an audience of people that are the ideal people that you want to be talking to, that are gonna, buy your music, show up at your concerts, or become a client to your business, buy the thing that you're offering to the world. That's the thing that we're helping you do. To learn more about this idea, what we do, go to templemail.co or check out the social media in our description. And yeah.
All right, great convo, True. You guys
Oh
got
yeah.
this. Don't give up.